Hello and welcome to sim.bc where it is 14:09, so just 10 past 2 in the after the noon, so to say. Oh yeah, hip with the kids and the lingo and all of that. And well, today I'm free. Yay! Free from school, which is both a yay and a nay in a way because, school is fun in a way when it's interesting stuff that you do there. So, in a way, it's kind of sad that I'm home. In another, it's absolutely astonishing and amazing that I'm home due to, all of the mandatory lessons. So just me being home for a day is like, yeah, crazy. No, it's not. We have some free days in the week every week, but gotta cherish them. Gotta cherish them, aren't we? Aren't we supposed to? Anyway, so yesterday we had a bit of French, and it was kind of cool. I feel like I'm getting a hang of the language. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm getting an understanding of French right now because I've learned all of the essential words like how, why, when, so on and so forth, with and which and stuff like that. So now I can actually ask if I don't understand a word, so I can work through the language. If someone were to drop me in a world where everybody spoke French, I probably would be able to like work my way through conversations and build up my vocabulary with the base French that I have right now, which feels amazing. It really feels like I have adapted yet another language like English. Well, I'm not at that level, not to that extent, of course. I'm still just in the beginner class, but I can lie down in my bed and think about stuff in French and actually make sense of it. Now, that's due to nobody's correcting me, so I could be all wrong. But it feels like I'm having, some sort of a base skeleton of a language to use, which is awesome, which is super amazing. Well, enough about that. To the matter at hand, or well, at hand and matter at hand, but like of a channel update. Channel update. I'm thinking about going on a channel update. That was optimistic. I'm thinking about next week going for a bit of a trip yet again and visit the southern parts of France. So not all of them, of course, but like the south part. So go to from Bordeaux to Toulouse, and then to Marseille, and then to Nice. I think that's how you pronounce it. If don't, butchering the language yet again. So don't even comment about it, which I've seen that some of you did already commented about me butchering the language. But it's all in good fun, I hope. And then move over from this to Monaco, and then go from Monaco back to Bordeaux. Feels like it feels like a feasible idea. It's within my what you would say, my economic range. It's within my budget to actually make this trip to begin with. So it feels kind of tempting to go for. But then I was wondering, how should I do with this daily upload schedule? Should I try to pre-make some videos and then have them scheduled to upload? How does that work? Or will it work? Should I take my computer with me? That's kind of exhausting. It's kind of weird. It's one more thing I have to care about when I'm out traveling. So we'll see what I do. We'll see if I even go at all. It might be that me mate don't want to go and that I don't have the balls to go alone, so to say. Maybe I do, but how fun is it to travel alone? Well, I think it's kind of fun, and I think it's an enriching experience that everybody should try at least once. But I have tried it once, and I've done that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. The pro with traveling alone is that I can actually like work with the computer and upload stuff without feeling that I have to walk away from someone that I'm traveling with, which is a deal now. It's kind of a big deal at the moment because I'm still like insecure about these things. I want like 100 videos, maybe a bit of a library to like refer to if somebody's listening to me and be like, yeah, so I'm at YouTube, and they can go in and say like, oh yeah, it is. We'll see how that all works out. Anyway, well, yeah. To move over to a bit of a problem I'm having. If somebody out there can know about this, I'm recording stuff on iMovie, and for some reason my Macintosh is starting to suck up storage. So my storage is getting full, even though I'm removing all the video clips I have, and I'm not saving them as videos in my theater in iMovie. So if somebody out there know why, if there's like a catch file or something that I need to remove or cleanse, let's say, would be all good. I take all of the different tips would be amazing to know, because right now I'm stacking up the storage pretty fast, unfortunately. Anyway, moving over to, well, now I've said moving over to like twice, but traveling and yesterday traveling and storage problems. But now persuasion. I know that I've talked about persuasion in the way in the four sense, like the four-step model that I had about establishing credibility, creating common ground, proving the evidence, or validating the proof, or whatever, validating the evidence. And then the last one being establishing an emotional connection. But I also have a six-step model, not a model perhaps, but six things, six perspective you can do or you can utilize in order to make people being persuaded by you, increasing the amount of a sale you get, like the amounts of well, yeah, persuasion. So it's so fast, it's so easy. The persuasion in the sale or something like that. So six perspectives you can watch this from is, let's see if I can get them all correctly right now. It's reciprocity or receptivity. That's the only one I'm like unsure of the word. I know what it's supposed to be, what it's supposed to mean, but I'm unsure of the word. Just bear with me if it's not the correct term in English. But I think it's reciprocity. Yeah, something like that. Then it's scarcity, authority, consistency, likeness, and consensus. Now, what does this mean, or how can you use these in persuasion? Well, reciprocity, I think, all the double hedging here, is that people are more inclined to help you and trust you if you do something for them. So they're more inclined to do something for you if you do something for them. So, for instance, if you offer them a favor when they go into your store and they are looking at different TVs, maybe you can offer them like, "Oh, do you want a piece of candy?" Well, maybe not a piece of candy, but do you want some nuts? Or well, that sounds fun too. Do you want a TV remote? Let's just say that. Do you want some help with the TV remote? Because then you offer them to help, and then they will be more inclined to like offer you something in return. Maybe buying a TV. That's a bit of a far stretch, but I think that the two first examples I used could be so easily misinterpreted. So let's go with TV remote instead. Anyway, moving over to scarcity, that is, people want a product more if they think that it's less of it. So, for instance, if you're having the TV yet again, you can say that this is the last one, or I only have two left, or oh wait, one just went away, and it's a bit of a hot sell right now, so I don't know how long I can have it for. So, creating this idea of scarcity, even though you might have like 400 TVs, but so that the person buying it feels pressured to actually buy it, and people would want it more, and they feel more persuaded to buy it if they think that it's high demand and low supply, because that's creating the idea of what is value. Moving on then to authority is that people are more inclined to make a like to buy something from you if they think that you are the one in charge. Often you might have heard this, "I want to speak to the person in charge," and that's because they want to be met on an equal level. They think that they're above the person. Maybe they think they're above the person, like the average seller or the person in the what do you say, in the reception. So they want to have the person in charge so that they actually can make a real decision. The person who is actually responsible for making the sale, for instance. So status and position, the authority bit, increases the amount of sales you can get because people trust you more and believe that you have the authority to actually make the sale, or actually have the responsibility to actually make some changes if they want like a discount or something, for instance. I'm sure you've all have heard that if you worked within that market, in that industry, where that's the thing, in sales in general, actually. That's all about consensus and pattern of concessions and stuff like that. Ooh, another topic for another video, perhaps, if I haven't covered it already. Gotta double check that. Anyway, moving on from authority is consistency, and that is, if simply put, if you have offered something to someone before, they are more inclined to offer a greater, how can I say this, something else in the same line of products, of goods. Okay, for instance, let's say this: you are asking them to sign 10 surveys to two different groups, Group A and Group B. Group A has never signed a survey before. They will probably most likely say no. However, in Group B, you've already introduced the concept of signing a survey before. So last year you asked them to sign 2 surveys, and most of the people did. These people will be more inclined to sign more surveys than Group A, because Group A will see this dramatic increase from 0 to 10, while the other group will see the dramatic increase from, well, it's still dramatic, but see the less dramatic increase from 2 to 10. Let's say that they were 5 before, to make it a bit more visually pleasing, or not visually pleasing, but more pedagogical. So they only have to move half as much as group A did. And that's consistency, that you have offered something to them before, now that you offer something greater yet again, but in the same direction of goods or services or things, they are more inclined to take you up on that offer in comparison to a group who has never been eased into the idea before. Now, moving into likeness is that people like you, I guess. If you give them compliments, if you're like them, if you're a person who look like them or behave like them, dress like them, talk like them, getting back to adapting vocabulary and dress code according to the client and the customer. And then consensus. Consensus is basically saying everybody else does it, why don't you? So trying to make them feel persuaded about everybody else is making this, everybody else is doing this. Consensus is basically what the general public thinks. So what is the general opinion about this? So you can try to use that, saying everybody thinks like this, everybody does this, why don't you? Make them feel outside, like an outsider, because people are, we're animals, we want to fit in, we're based in flocks, or whatever you say in English, tribal animals, maybe. We like to travel in big packs exactly. So you don't want to be an outsider as a person. Well, that's the 6 steps. It is, let's just go through them again. Let's see if I can make it. It's reciprocity maybe. Then it's scarcity, authority, consistency, likeness, and consensus. And those are the 6 steps in order to persuade someone. 6 steps and steps, 6 perspectives you can see this from. I'm sure that there are many good videos who are showing this in a more visually pleasing idea, like a visually pleasing things on YouTube already, or in Twitch or something, but I just felt like touching upon it, giving my own kind of idea of what it is. And since I've studied this in negotiation just recently, to show off that I know these things are also kind of a nice thing for me. Well, anyway, let's see you next time. Bye.